Welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here in 1130 The Tiger. We're pleased to be joined by one of the two head coaches. We had Joey McGuire on last week, and we appreciate Justin Wilcox, the head coach of the Cal Bears, for making some time for us here. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Man, I'm fantastic. Look, before we get into the real nuts and bolts here, you and I have a connection that I was unaware of till I started reading your bio, but you started your coaching career under one of our favorite human beings in the entire world. Back in the day, we used to be members of the Tim Brando Show, and I know you know Timmy B. He's done some of your games. Rogers, my producer, and I were both on the Tim Brando Show, and on occasion, when Timmy couldn't be there, I would fill in as the guest host, and we would have various other coaches or commentators or whatever to fill in as kind of a co-host. And one of those was Dan Hawkins.
Yes.
Hawk. So Hawk ended up being one of our good buddies. We talked to him. As a matter of fact, he's supposed to be coming on the show now that he's resigned at UC Davis to go probably get killed by a killer whale out in the Arctic Ocean or something. So, Coach, we have a familiarity there with Dan Hawkins, who's one of my favorite people in the whole world.
I love Hawk. He gave me my start as a grad assistant. I talked to him to this day. I mean, I literally talked to him probably 3 days ago. He's he's just an amazing guy, has such a great perspective, and he's one of the best storytellers out there.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I basically just told him, look, now that he's kind of done in coaching for a bit, I said, look, come on, I'll give you a whole hour. You can just be on the phone for a whole hour, and we'll just chit chat. Because every time I talk to him, he's going to run with the bulls or going to go see some sea whales that that you get to see in Norway or something. I love that man.
Yeah, I'm going to be a big letdown because Coach Hawk is as quotable as it gets, and I don't know that I'm near as quotable as Coach Hawk, so I apologize in advance.
That's a high bar, Coach.
I know it is.
So I would not expect anyone to be as quotable as he is.
Yeah, true.
Hey, let's kind of start with the bowl announcement and getting to kind of be a part of it. Give us your schedule a little bit. When do y'all come in? When is kind of what are you looking forward to with it when it comes to the week of bowl activities?
Yeah, we're fired up. We actually are leaving first thing in the morning. We're going to be wheels up here 7 a.m. So we got an early morning tomorrow. We'll get out there. We're going to land. We're going to go run around at the stadium, kind of get our legs back under us. And then we got dinner tomorrow night, and we're going to enjoy the bowl festivities, the hospitality there, which is just renowned, and then get ready to play on Saturday night against a great team in Tech.
Well, as I told Joey McGuire, the head coach of Tech, look, I'm basically the size of like a freshman offensive lineman. I'm about 6'4", 285 or so. So if I can help you with food while you're in Shreveport, let me know, because as I always say, fat guys know where the best food is, and I definitely know where the best food is. So if you need any food help, feel free to get in contact with me. I'll be sure to hook you up, Coach.
Well, I will. I'm a food guy, and I've lived kind of all over the country, and I don't know that there's a better state in the U.S. for food than Louisiana, so I'm looking forward to it.
You ain't lying, that's for sure. All right, so obviously coming in from California, tell us a little bit about your squad. What do we need to know as new fans who are going to be out there watching you on Saturday? Kind of give us what is the Cal Golden Bear team. What should we be looking for?
Yeah, great group of guys. We got a lot of guys that have been with us for a number of years, and obviously college football has changed a lot, but got some veteran guys that have been with us for a long time. Bunch of smart, tough, dependable guys. We finished the season very strong. We had a rough stretch in the middle of the season, and the perseverance that the guys on our team showed to finish the season like they did really speaks volumes about them as human beings. We've had offensively, our offensive coaches did a great job this year. We got a real strong run game. We got a great running back in Jaden Knott, so we're excited to get him out there and get him the ball. Young quarterback who hails from Miami, Fernando Mendoza. And defensively, got some veterans back there, a safety, Craig Woodson, who's played a lot of ball for us, who's from neighboring Texas, and a big man up front who's come off of 2 years of missing football, named Brett Johnson, who's just been a phenomenal player for us. Really proud of him. So it's been an exciting year. Some new faces also that have joined the lineup and did some great things late in the season. And we're going to have to play really well. We know that to beat Texas Tech.
Defensively, obviously, it's where you hang your hat. I've always kind of been an admirer of you and your system from afar. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's kind of a 3-3. I know it's a hybrid. You move around a lot, but it feels like with what you do defensively, that is almost as fun to watch as what you do offensively because you are so multiple. You do have the ability. So many guys that are able to do so many different things within that defense. To me, that sort of a defense is what you have to have in order to combat what offenses are doing today. Kind of take us through sort of the history. What led you to develop this idea of more of a flexibility defensively?
Yeah, I tell you what, it's changed over the years, and offenses have become more and more difficult with, the RPO game and the run-pass option and the quarterback play that you see at the college level. Obviously, we're going to see a great quarterback, great running back. Coach Kitley, their offensive coordinator, has done a fantastic job in his career. But I think how it's evolved is just finding players that can do multiple jobs. Whether your outside backers can play defensive end and rush the quarterback and also give you something in the pass game if you need them in zone coverage, for example. Or your inside linebackers, guys that can play off the ball and also rush the quarterback if you're going to use a bunch of sim pressures. So the nickels and the safeties, I think those guys are also so key to what we do. A lot of communication going on because of all the formation variations you see and the disguise between those guys of being able to do different jobs so you're not giving the quarterbacks the same look every time. As I mentioned, these offenses have done such a great job in recent history of becoming more and more evolved, and it's been fun defensively. The challenge has been fun.
I was going to say, has it really been fun? I mean,
yeah, it's fun. The challenge is fun, but it's not always fun playing them. But
yeah.
It certainly has, changed how we view recruiting and how we identify positions on defense and what we need out of those guys to play great defense.
Being a defensive guy, are you surprised at times when coaches say they want to operate on the defensive side of the ball? I always feel like it's one of those, hey, mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be defensive coordinators, especially in today's college football. Is that tough sometimes to convince folks to be on that side of the ball?
All the young coaches I talk to, I tell them to coach offense. That's exactly right.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah,
like you have to be a little bit crazy to be a defensive coach these days, I think.
Yeah, it's certainly problem solving and the rules of the game. Again, this RPO game and where the lineman can be. Is it a run or is it a pass? The tempo part of it. There's some stresses there. The signaling, and we're actually getting to get the college football folks to agree to potentially get some coach-player communication going like the NFL, which we need to do, I think, to get out of this signal stealing business. So, I think there's just a lot that you're considering when you coach defense in this era as opposed to 20 years ago where it was just it was much different.
Okay, so I'm going to be a little in the weeds here for our audience, but you mentioned simulated pressure, where you look like you're coming from one side and you're not. Just as a defensive coach, when you see an offensive lineman block nobody, how big do you smile when you see that on film? Yeah. When the offensive lineman is ready, they've maybe shifted the line to one side or the other to protection, and it's coming from the other side, and you see a left guard getting ready to block someone who's not there. That's got to be the most fun thing for you as a coach.
Yeah, I think what we're all trying to do is, we're cheap. We're trying to get them to block 5 guys when we're only bringing 4,
right.
or block 3, three guys because maybe it looks like 4. So I think you're always trying to get them to block somebody that might not be in the rush, and that way you can still play coverage behind it, and they have to keep the back end or something like that so they can't stress your coverages. It's easier said than done because these O-line coaches are really good and the coordinators are really good, but we're trying to be cheap. We're trying to get them to treat something like it's a 6-man pressure, but we're actually only bringing 5. That's what I mean by the sim pressure.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. We're chatting with Justin Wilcox, head coach of the Cal Bears. All right, let's talk a little bit about the transfer portal now, because everyone's being affected by it. I was just mentioning, I know you were on a phone call. I said he's either on a phone call with an incoming recruit, a portal guy, or maybe trying to keep his own kid at home after he hits the portal. That seems to be what your job is now. how difficult is it now with, and I mention this every time I say it, it's not the portal that's the issue, it's the free transfer year where you're not penalized, and so you don't see these kids going down to the FCS to be eligible immediately. How difficult is it now with recruiting, not just recruiting other people from the transfer portal, not just recruiting high school kids or junior college kids, but also having to sometimes recruit your own kids?
Yeah, it's a new element, and it's brand new to everybody here in the last couple years, and you have to change with the times. And I've learned to be real non-emotional about all of it. I understand that the kids have a lot of decisions to make, and there's more options, and there's NIL, and there's transfer portal, and every kid's situation is different. So our job is to help those guys the best we can, and at the same time, we got to bring in and attract and retain as much talent as we possibly can, and develop that talent so we can go out and play well and win games. But I know there's the environment's been disrupted, for coaches, players, teams, programs, administrations, and fans alike. And so everybody's kind of learning to operate in this new environment. But I certainly don't judge the players. I think it's just a new era that we're in, and we've got to learn to navigate it the best we can. And it's probably going to be changing, in the next few years as it grows and becomes more evolved. But it's just something that we all are dealing with. As you mentioned, every school in the country is dealing with this.
Yeah, and obviously in the age of NIL, and now the NCAA potentially saying, hey, we're just going to let the schools pay the players, right? Especially at the kind of top level, we may create a separate subdivision where they can just basically become employees of the school, which I personally am in favor of. Let's just get everything out in transparency. It used to be you'd have to give a kid a McDonald's bag with $10,000 in it, some shady booster. Now you can just do it out in public and everybody knows about it. I am curious though, as a lifelong college football guy, do you like the direction of this becoming a little more of a business as opposed to this kid's coming to Old State U to play for a scholarship?
Well, there are elements of college football that are absolutely a business. I mean, we all have to acknowledge that. I mean, the TV contracts, the playoffs, and what that generates. I mean, we're a massive, massive business. Mm-hmm. There's also an element of college football that is, young people getting an education, and blending the two is going to be the art of all this. So I'm in favor of NIL. I think transparency would be a good thing because there is zero transparency right now.
Yeah.
And then what is the structure going to be? And that's where they got to get some people in a room together to sort this out. Like, how are they going to do it structurally? And there's some smart people out there. I think the end game in doing what's best for the players and still providing a really competitive environment in college football would be the goal. And we can get there. And so, yeah, But to say that there's not an element of business in college football would be foolish. I mean, I think it's too evident. We have to acknowledge it and say it, and that's okay. And I think you can still have college football, but include the business aspect of it.
Yeah, Coach, your team is your school moving to the ACC coming up starting next fall. I'm just kind of curious with all of the realignment that's going on. I know that it's not necessarily, the decision comes from higher than you, and that decision gets made there. But kind of where do you fall on all of the realignment? And to me, I'm a Louisiana guy. I don't have any Pac-12 ties. I don't really, I don't know folks out there. But to me, it's a little bit melancholy that we're going to lose some of these great rivalries that we had. But I am curious, with this business of college football being what it is, where do you fall on the idea of conference realignment, not just necessarily at Cal, but kind of all over the place in general?
Yeah. Well, there's a side of me that the college football enthusiast and a believer in college football that is a bit sad of how it all went down. I also think there's an opportunity moving forward. We're excited as a school and as a program to go into the ACC and compete against some new teams in some different environments. I think that's going to be really exciting. And I also think within a given number of years, I don't know if that's 3 or 5 or 7 or 10, that there's going to be potentially another big shakeup.
Right.
And so it's not done yet. It is new and different. Losing the conference or having the conference essentially dissolve and losing some of those traditional games, I don't think that's great. It kind of makes me sad, being a West Coast guy, but we are where we are right now. I'm looking forward to the good in what's coming, and also, what could be down the road here in the next few years.
Well, a couple of good things that will be on display on Saturday is the respective running backs. Taj Brooks from Texas Tech, who just announced he is returning. Jaden Ott for you guys. As a little bit of an old school guy, been around college football, how cool is it to see a couple of running backs that are going to be featured in a game?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, both backs are really talented, different, but special in their own ways. So we love having Jaden here. He's a really fast guy. He can accelerate. He's carried the ball a lot for us and made a lot of big plays for us. Obviously, their guy is a very talented guy too. But it is great to have two really, really talented backs in the same game.
I'm curious, do you and McGuire know each other at all? I don't know what circles you run in.
No, I don't. I just know of him. His reputation in our industry is very strong, and he's known as a really good football coach. Been known that way a long time. And then I do have connections with some members of their defensive staff. Worked with them prior and know them well.
Gotcha. Final thing, Coach, your players and the bowl experience. Everyone talks about Independence Bowl and how good the experience is. Coaches, players, wives, family. The Indy Bowl really prides itself on taking care of everyone. What do you, aside from the game and the game experience and getting to have some younger guys practice a little longer, what do you want these guys to take away from a bowl experience like this?
Yeah, appreciation. Going down to Shreveport and being in a different part of the country. Most of the guys on their team haven't been there. I think that'll be really neat for them. It'd be a great experience. Enjoying that experience, and also at the same time preparing to play their best. And that's a balance. We want to, the bowl game is a reward for the season, and also an opportunity to put your stamp on the season with how you play in the bowl game. So I want them to enjoy it. It should be a reward. It should be fun. But the way we can enjoy it the best is if we go down and play really well.
Well, Coach, I will tell you, if you end up, eating, I know you'll eat well. If someone, you at a tailgate, or someone just comes down and hands you something and says, eat it, don't ask what's in it. All right, just eat it.
Yeah.
I promise it'll be terrific. Just don't ask what's in it.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I'll be ready.
Yeah, it might be nutria, might be possum. I don't know, but it's going to be delicious. I can promise you. Coach,
I used to shoot nutria on the farm I grew up in.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. We used to eat our cabbage, so my dad would encourage us to protect the cabbage, so we'd go down there and discourage the nutria from eating the cabbage. Put it that way.
You made a friend in my father. I can assure you, nutria are a huge deal for him. They're actually illegal to kill in Louisiana, amazingly enough.
Yeah, we would just shoot at them. I didn't mean that. We just scare them away.
No. I don't. Whatever you did on your farm, I don't know. But look, I killed a nutria rat one time when I was growing up, and my dad. I was hunting we were duck hunting. And nothing was really flying. We were kind of bored, and he saw a nutria, and he said, I'm 10 years old. I'm anxious for something to shoot at. He says, just shoot that nutria over there, knowing I'm not going to kill him. And I did. And boy, everyone freaked the hell out. And sorry, let's go. We got to bury that thing. We can't let anybody know that you killed it. So I hope the statute of limitations ran out 36 years ago.
Yeah, I think you're probably all right.
Of me killing a nutria rat. Well, you've definitely made a fan in Louisiana if you're killing nutria rats, Coach. We love that. Thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it. Safe travels. We look forward to seeing you guys on this week.
Thanks for having me on. Go Bears.
All right, that's Justin Wilcox, head coach of the Cal Bears.